What's up, guys? How you guys doing? My name is Tyson Smith. We are doing NBA Showdown for Thursday night. Dallas Mavericks visiting the Denver Nuggets. Ellie Hernandez, how are you, bro? How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I know I missed out last night, so I decided to go pick up some seltzers here so I could follow along appropriately tonight.
Yeah, there you go.
Not sponsored by either of these guys, but
Hey, if anybody from Truly is watching, hit us up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Anyways, Concrete Botanical, aka my wife, stopping in to say hi. Thanks for supporting us, Holly. We'll let some people trickle in here. Throw us a like on your way in. We appreciate it. So let's how are you doing? Let's just shoot the shit for like 3 minutes while some people filter in. How is your main slate doing? Did you play Karis LeVert in every single one of your lineups? And if you say no, we're gonna end the stream now.
Oh, I for sure have him in every fucking lineup. Look, this might be the dumbest play of the slate. Like, if you don't, what's up, bro? If you don't have Karis LeVert, just forget about main slate and move on to the next slate.
Yeah, exactly.
You have a guy who's going to get 716% usage with KD and Kyrie off the floor, and they literally have like a 2.5 man rotation. Like, I don't understand he has 43 fantasy points, dude.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. I don't care what his ownership is. That's the great thing about NBA. It doesn't. A lot of these guys, it doesn't matter what their ownership is. If it's a like a spot like that where the dude is going to crush it, you just have to play him. You get different elsewhere.
So like it's the odds of him busting were so fucking low. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
interesting. Yeah. Showdown. Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. You know what? We should start looking at some of the showdowns and some of these other slates. I think I might start doing more showdown on like 11 or 12 game slates as opposed to these 5 to 7. Shit's crazy.
What's going on, man? All right, let's just jump right into our Vegas total here. Let's screen share this MF. So tonight should be an interesting game. We've got Dallas in Denver. Both of these teams didn't start out great, kind of picking it up lately. Denver's a -148 home favorite, about a 60% win probability. The total is decent, over under of 223. Denver -3 favorites. So Ellie, this is NBA. This isn't too crazy of a total here. This isn't too crazy of a spread. Should be a pretty straightforward game. Dallas and Denver, pretty slow paced. Dallas is 25th in pace. Denver is 24th in pace. You have Dallas with a defensive rating overall of 10th in the league, which is pretty good. So we should see some good defense here. What do you think about this matchup? Luka's been doing well lately, and we all know about Jokic. So what are your thoughts on this matchup overall?
Yeah, man. I honestly, I'm intrigued by this matchup. I think Luka is obviously one of the young talents in the NBA. The NBA is in very good hands with guys like him, Trae Young, and Devin Booker. Right. So I'm excited to watch this game. And then, of course, Nikola Jokic has just been absolutely crushing this year. I don't know. Maybe he decided to get in shape before the season started, or he's still in shape from the 8-game season. Yeah. But he's just absolutely crushing. So, I think this is going to kind of lean towards the over on this game. Both teams are Dallas is kind of middling when it comes to defense and scoring, right?
Yeah.
But Denver's the fourth scoring team, and they allow a decent amount of points as well. So I definitely think we could see the over here and see something like 120 to 115 as the final score. So I think it's going to be fun from a fantasy perspective.
I really hope that Luka can continue to trend up here. The league is just better in general if this guy's going off. He's not doing terrible to start the year, but from a fantasy perspective, nothing to write home about, although the last 2 games he has been doing pretty good. So, injuries. Let's move on to some injuries here. So, Michael Porter Jr., like Raph was saying here, Michael Porter Jr. out you know, so that makes things a little bit more interesting. If he was in, it might be a little bit more difficult to build here. But I think, with Trey Burke out with an illness, Porzingis obviously is out for maybe another week or so. I'm not exactly sure on his status, but he's definitely out tonight. Michael Porter Jr. is out with COVID. So with Trey Burke out, what does that do for you? Looks like Brunson will get a additional run, and Brunson might end up with 20 plus minutes. And with Porter Jr. out, we're going to see Will Barton starting, and then JaMychal Green off the bench getting additional minutes. So what does this mean to you? Is this, Michael Porter Jr. is a nice player. I wish he was in for basketball wise, but for fantasy, it opens things up a little bit for us. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't want to get too lost in the MPJ news. I mean, he's just barely been starting. I mean, we got a handful of games from the end of last season, and then a handful of games at the beginning of this year. So we literally have an entire season worth of data with MPJ being off the bench or not getting any minutes. So I think we have a pretty rough idea of how that works out for Will Barton, Gary Harris, and kind of some of the rotation there. So I'm not too concerned with that. The one that I'm really interested in is obviously Trey Burke, right? I like Jalen Brunson a lot. I mean, I'm playing a hell of a lot of him on the main slate. He's priced down on the main slate, so we'll look at his pricing here and see if it's similar. But the guy has the ability to just go off, and I understand that Luka's going to be playing, but somebody's going to be taking all those 2 unit minutes. So I think I think he's in a great spot. And then, again, with Porzingis being out, I know he's been out all season, but don't get lost in the narrative that Luka hasn't been performing. The amount of usage that goes through him because Porzingis is out is insane. I think Zach LaVine might be the only person ahead of him in usage, and that might not even be true. He might be above 34%. So we'll find out as we kind of start deep diving this a little bit more. But I don't think you want to underestimate Luka. If he's not 100% owned on this slate, then someone's fucking up.
Exactly, I totally agree with you. Denver started 1-4, but they've won 2 in a row, and Dallas came off of a win over the Rockets. So things are trending up for both of these teams. They're starting to look a little bit better than they were at the beginning of the year. That makes this a potentially good NBA game and hopefully a good fantasy game. So let's move over to the starters here. This is a little bit interesting when it comes to the starters. We've got for Dallas, the interesting thing here is you've got Maxi Kleber and Willie Cauley-Stein. Now, this is unconfirmed. We'll obviously get official lineups hopefully sooner than later. And if you guys see any alerts, let us know ASAP. We've got all of our devices in use, so we'll find it eventually. But if you guys see it, hit us up in the chat. So Willie Cauley-Stein and Maxi Kleber both starting. DFS projected to start. Josh Richardson and Luka Doncic are obviously starting. Tim Hardaway potentially coming off the bench, which is a little interesting. For Denver, we've got Jamal Murray, Gary Harris, Will Barton, Paul Millsap, and Jokic. Kind of just very boring for me. Paul Millsap, Barton, Gary Harris, not my favorite DFS players, although Barton has been doing okay. Jamal Murray, I like Jamal Murray a lot. So what are your thoughts on the starting lineups here? And what are your favorite bench players?
Yeah, honestly, this isn't going to be too difficult. Really, the only starter I'm truly interested in on the Mavs is Luka Doncic. After him, I think guys like Josh Richardson and DFS are fine. And then just a subtle correction here, it's Maxi Kleber.
Oh God, okay, sorry about that.
you got to get the accent in there. Kleber. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I think yours actually might have been right. So yeah, Maxi Kleber, whatever the fuck his name is, Maxi Pad. You got to play him if you think
I like that better.
If you think he's going to be over 25 minutes. He's going to be pretty nicely priced, and he is in a good spot. But again, Willie Cauley-Stein is going to be cheap as hell too. So I think you're going to have a little bit of value here. But again, I think it's going to be a little bit more chalky than what people are anticipating, because I think people are going to be looking at that specifically for value. Personally, I'm going to prioritize Doncic, and then I'm going to come over to the Denver Nuggets side and then get Murray and Jokic. From there, then I'll start throwing in other pieces. I'm more interested in the Dallas bench than I am in the Denver bench. So that's probably going to be a majority of the way I build tonight.
The really interesting thing is, and we'll show you our Captain Crunch segment here where we crunched out a ton of lineups and just kind of judge things overall from the best captain perspective. The thing that was really popping out to me was PJ Dozier was just in fucking every out of the 1,700 lineups I crunched plus. PJ Dozier in every single group of lineups with captain was in like 60% of the lineups. For whatever reason at 3.1K with his projection, the optimizers loving PJ Dozier. Now, I'm not saying to play PJ Dozier that much, but we'll get into it. We'll look at his fantasy points per minute. We'll see if it's actually a good play or not when we actually deep dive here. So let's get into our breakdown. Ellie, unless you have anything else to add to this.
No, we're good.
All right. So we're going to get into the breakdown here. Let's move right over to, this is what we're calling Captain Crunch. So Ellie, first look, what jumps out to you here when you see this?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's probably the captain ownership projected for Luka Doncic.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of high, but I don't know how you fade away from Doncic or Jokic. Jokic is.
Sorry about this, guys. KCP ruled out Kuzma starting. So if you're playing main slate or if you're doing any other showdown stuff, Kuzma's in. That's a pretty good value for you guys. Go ahead, Ellie.
I mean, I'm going to be a smartass here, but now you just have Kuzma getting the same 25 minutes with the fucking ones.
You're right. You're right. Actually, that's a good point.
Yeah, there's a reason why he only gets 24 off the bench. But look, Jokic is, man, I want to build with him because if he's really only going to be 31% of the captain, and I say only kind of sparingly there, I want to see what we can get there because there is a good chance he's going to be the highest scorer on the slate. But other than that, I think my favorite might actually end up being Jamal Murray. I don't think I'm ballsy enough to go down to Will Barton, but Jamal Murray, 13%, and he's got the tied for the top ceiling. I mean,
yeah, exactly. I think Jamal Murray is the top contrarian play by far. It gets you the safest option. If he has the ceiling outputs, which he absolutely can, you have the highest upside. You have the lowest potential ownership with him in lineups that he's captain at. And look at the top minutes there. He's at 100. So basically what you're saying is by going all the way down to 13.8K, by going all the way to the 13.8K, sorry, I got a chat here. My bad. So by going to that price with Jamal Murray, you're getting way more minutes in the flex, and also your ownership there is super low. So I think Jamal Murray is the obvious contrarian play for large field tournaments. And then the debate is Luka or Jokic at captain. And I think you can probably spread out a little bit. But based on what I'm seeing here, Luka has a little bit higher median projection for his top lineups. And he has a lower bottom end to the projected lineups. So the interesting thing here to keep an eye on, and Ellie, I didn't even mention this to you. So when it comes to ceiling, floor, this is something I'm going to have to calculate. I'm going to have to bring this into Excel and F around with it. But like ceiling and floor, it's not actually taking into account the 1x, 1.5x, what their ceiling would be in the captain. This is just a straight up lineup, like overall. It's not taking into effect that ceiling at captain. So if Luka Doncic's ceiling is really 67 fantasy points or 75, whatever it is, we'll look at it in a second. It would be adjusting for a 1.5x version of that. It's not. So that's one thing to keep an eye when we see top ceiling and top floor with some of these guys with an actual high ceiling. It's not adjusting for captain ceiling. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And that's something that's something we can adjust. We'll have to literally bring that into Excel and adjust on our end. That's something we'll deal with. But this is just out of the box, is just giving us a pretty decent basic way to judge this.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's going to be directionally accurate either way. I mean, obviously, if you think Luka is going to be the top scoring person, you have him in captain. If you're projecting for a certain amount of points, you're just going to add to it. But if you still think that lineup is winnable at 240, then it should be a winning lineup with Luka projected at 1.5 times, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
we all know that Luka and Jokic lineups have the top ceiling, followed, a little bit farther away by Jamal Murray. but this is just a decent way to judge that stuff. So, all right, what are we doing now? We're breaking down. Let's move over to my Excel sheet here. Let me exit out of this, pop that up, screen share.
Should have played Joe Harris, man.
Is he going off? He wasn't in the starting lineup.
Yeah, he has 22 points, 6 boards, and 3 assists.
Of course he does. Why wouldn't he?
Well, to be fair, we were looking at the direct backup, right? And Karis LeVert and guys there. Thanks, Mike. We appreciate you, dude. Yeah, man. Like, when somebody's out, don't always look at the direct backups. Look at the rotational pieces that are going to get a boost there. And I'll be honest, Joe Harris just is not an exciting person. So I'd have to plan to think of fucking looking for him. You know what I mean? So yeah, lesson learned.
All right, so we've got Jokic at 11.4K. He's the highest price guy on the slate, and which is interesting because look, this is obviously based off of his recent performance. Luka has not been crushing it as much as Jokic has. He's averaging a triple-double this year. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
It's insane. So Luka being 1.2K less than Jokic, that's why he's picking up so much damn ownership in the captain there. I prefer Luka just because of the price. There's no reason why Luka should be less, price lower. So what are your thoughts at the top end? There's really only 3 guys to talk about. Luka, Jokic, and Jamal Murray at 9.2K. So who's your favorite out of the top 2 elite plays? And Jamal Murray what are your thoughts on him in this game? Can he actually go off?
Yeah, Luka and Jokic will be in every single lineup. If you feel like getting a little different, I think Jamal Murray is an okay fade in 1 or 2 lineups. But for the most part, I want all 3 of these guys. This is where a majority of the usage is going to go. And we know that because when MPJ is not on the floor, the usage goes through Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. It's that simple. Luka, we already know where the usage is going to go. He plays the whole game when Porzingis isn't there. So, I mean, I don't know how you fade any one of these guys. But if you're okay with fading someone, it's going to be Murray.
Yeah, I agree. And look, with Showdown, with any Showdown, you have to just make a decision. All right, do I want to be different in captain? Okay, and then I can do whatever I want in the flex, or do I want to embrace the chalk at captain? And how do I become slightly different in the flex depending on your contest selection? So in this case, if we're going to go Luka Doncic at 40+% ownership in the captain, how in the Sam fuck are we going to be different in the flex, especially if we want to have Jokic and Murray in every one of those lineups? To me, if Doncic is captain, you got to think about fading Murray, at least considering it, or Barton or Hardaway. Like you have to just go into the lower 20s with 2 or 3 guys, I think. Do you agree?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't even know if you got to get that crazy. If these utility spot projections are correct, we can just start from the bottom. No.
I mean, Willie Cauley-Stein, I mean, if that's accurate, that's insane.
Bro, even Campazzo at 10%, or where the fuck his name is, right?
Run. Yeah, he got some run at 16 minutes. Yeah. That's the interesting thing here is all these guys are getting 15+ minutes, and in Showdown, that matters. Main slate, we don't give a shit about that, but 16, 17 minutes, 18 minutes.
Well, we saw it last night. Wasn't Brad Wanamaker in the optimal?
Yeah.
I mean, he was at like $1,400 fucking dollars. I mean, he only had like 9.5 points, but he was needed. And when you have guys like this, you want to pay for it. I mean, bro, 16 minutes at $2,200. Like they even priced it better. They learned from last night. They're like, shit.
Yeah, exactly. So middle range guys here. We've got Will Barton at 7,400, Tim Hardaway, which, he's projected for 29 minutes. They're saying he's not starting, but that's taking that into account. He's still going to get his bench minutes. Josh Richardson at 7K, 32 minutes. We've got Paul Millsap, Monty Morris. Who's your least favorite guy here? Isn't it Monty Morris when you say that?
Yeah, based on pricing, yes. Given his utility ownership, I don't know. I might look at him a little bit more.
Fantasy points per minute here. Yeah, I mean they're all kind of around that same, 0.7-ish.
Look, if Josh Richardson's in this group, I don't give a shit about him. So yeah, like What is
Yeah.
he at? He's at 11.5. So or that's his captain salary.
Yeah, he's at 7K.
7K. Okay, yeah. No, I mean he's still in that range. I don't like him. I think if I have to rank him, it's THJ, Will Barton. I'll get a little bit of Millsap, and then I think Monty Morris, and then Richardson. I just don't like Richardson. He's a 3-and-D guy. If he's not making his threes, you better hope he gets 15 fucking steals.
Yeah. So Will Barton's, his last 2 games, this is interesting. Will Barton, 37 fantasy points last night or the night before, whenever that game was. He had 20 real life points. And then the game before against Minnesota, the same matchup, he had 14 less minutes, but he still ended up with 29 fantasy points. So Barton seems to be on a good streak here. And if you look at, let's see, he's priced up a bit, considering that. But at 7,400, 32 minutes, his usage is hovering right around 20%. And his ceiling is, in the mid 40s. So can we say that Barton may be one of the, a decent option? I know he's at 40%, but in this middle tier, would you consider him to be the safest option?
Yeah, he's definitely the safest option, and honestly, he's a viable pivot off of Murray. I think you have to have him or Murray. I think you're right on there. And I was kind of skeptical about him yesterday, and he got me there in cash. He saved me a little bit of money, so I might have a little bit more faith in him tonight.
So this is something to just take into consideration, with a grain of salt here. Is this season it's only about a sample size of about 50 minutes, 50 court minutes, but Jamal Murray gets a plus 6.3% usage boost with MPJ off the court. Now, if you look at basically for the last 2 years, his Jamal Murray's usage is at 23% with MPJ off the court, but we can't really take that into consideration because MPJ didn't really start coming on until end of the season last year. He wasn't really getting a big run until the end of the season, so it's something to mention, but at the same time, not a huge deal. All right, so we got 20 minutes here. Let's move on to our fade. Let me switch our screen shares here. Taking forever. All right.
How is Brooklyn winning, bro?
I don't know, man.
What's your name? Tony!
Fuck you, Tony. Who are we telling to fuck off? Ellie, talk to me.
Yeah, bro. I really just don't give a shit about anybody on the Nuggets starting lineup other than Jokic and Murray. I really don't give a shit about their bench either, right? Other than that Frank Camacho guy or whatever the hell his name is. I don't even know what reference I just made. I'm going to look that up.
Facundo Campazano. I don't know if he's Italian, but it sounds fucking Italian to me.
Yeah, so look, I think he's fine, but really these are the only 2 guys I want. I'll sprinkle in a little bit of what the fuck is his name? Will Barton, and
yeah,
that's probably it for me.
So for me, Paul Millsap, he just doesn't jump out to me. His ownership is in the middle of the road. He's 6,200. He's projected for 26 minutes. His usage is under 20. His fantasy points per minute is 0.79. He has a pretty low ceiling, pretty low floor. He doesn't do anything for me. This isn't some bold ass take here, but to me, Paul Millsap is just kind of one of these guys that I can, if he doesn't end up in any of my lineups, I'm not going to cry myself to sleep. All right. So let's move over to our captain pick here.
Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass.
We're crowning their ass on DraftKings, and big surprise. Real bold take by us here tonight. But with NBA, I like to be a little bit safer with these captains to get different elsewhere. So Ellie, is there any reason to even explain this choice?
Here, let's do it this way. If you have a question about why we're doing this, put it in the chat. Otherwise, we're going to proceed in like 6 seconds.
And also, while you're in the chat, hit us up about who you want us to build it with that captain. I think we should start with Luka here, obviously. So Ellie, get your shit ready here. Well, I'm going to switch over to your side of things. We've got about 20 minutes to lock. I've got 4 lineups that I'm gonna use our builds here and enter those freaking lineups, just like I did last night, and I profited like a mofo. Good night last night. Besides me touting Zubac over Eric Pascal, which that worked out well for me. He ended up with we had like fucking 5 fouls in the first 2 minutes. All right,
I'm
Go
gonna
ahead,
say something, man. I if you watch the tape, I was high on Pascal.
you were, and we were both. We were look. You were high, and you were on Pascal. Yes, exactly.
Bro, it was 5%. Like you just had to play him in
Yeah.
the right lineups to be high on him. You know what I mean?
Hey, would you zoom out? It looks fucking weird. Can you command minus? Yeah, there you go. Why does it look like that?
Yeah, what is he doing?
Oh, can you zoom it? That's weird. All right, zoom in a little bit. Yeah, that'll be fine. All right. That's fucking weird. Oh, there you go. Okay, cool.
Gotta be smart fucking machine, right, guys?
So hit us up on the chat. If there's a crazy guy you want us to build at captain, we'll absolutely do that. We're going to focus on Jokic and Murray and Doncic here.
The one guy listed last. So I just ran the optimum with Jokic just to kind of see where we're at. This is 234, albeit projection points. James Johnson's getting projected to be in the optimal in 18 minutes.
Let me check to see if we've gotten a lineup here.
And then if anybody knows anything about James Johnson, please write about it. Like, why? Anyways, I don't understand why he would be the optimal.
James Johnson, let's see. I wrote something down about him. Where the fuck was he at? He actually got some more run with Kleber in foul trouble.
Got it. Okay.
Or maybe there is a chance that they're projecting him a little higher because of his minutes per game is a little higher than it should be. But if we see any foul trouble from Willie Cauley-Stein and Maxi Kleber Josh Johnson gets that boost. And let's see, what's his fantasy points per minute here? He's projected for 16 minutes, and he's right around 0.92 fantasy points per minute. So it's not terrible. Let me just double check our starting lineups here. Let me see if we have official word on this yet. It looks like we do.
I am for sure submitting this.
So everything that we said before is exactly accurate. Cauley-Stein, Kleber, both starting. Bench player, older player in the league, a lot of foul trouble. Yeah, exactly. Thanks, man. Cheapest, best captain option. How do you answer that?
THJ.
Tim Hardaway?
Yeah, so look, that's obviously a fucking balls deep play, but he's cheap and he could go off. You know how he gets when he starts hitting his threes.
Lowest I'm willing to go is probably comfortably just Jamal Murray. I don't think you need to get too crazy different here because if you look at the flex ownership, there's so much ownership spread out. You can be unique in other ways.
Well, I mean, look at this. This is the same projection as the optimal, almost 2 points off. With Jokic at captain, he's going to be chalk as hell and is expensive. Campasso, and that's really the only pick that I'm concerned about.
All right, I'm going to answer this one. Don't fucking Campasso. How do you spell that? Oh, Camp.
Okay. Yeah.
Brunson. So this is the same. This is the same fantasy point projection.
It's 2 points
off. Opto. Close.
2 points less.
All right, 16 minutes to lock. Let's do Luka here.
Let's do it.
Let's see the opto there. Have you refreshed this lately?
Yeah.
757? Okay, cool. Do it again, just to be sure. All right, Luka at captain. Oops. You gotta switch to different slate.
I play so much Showdown now that I forget there's other fucking slates.
Michael Forte, can you Barton captain, shot of him going off? Yeah, let's do it. We'll do a Barton captain as well. Thanks for commenting. So opto this. See what it is with Luka at captain only.
Good call. 236. So the opto prior was 234.
So 236. Write that down. That's with Luka. So this just kind of represents what we were getting with our Captain Crunch info. So Willie Cauley-Stein, dude, I like Willie Cauley-Stein in this spot. There's a chance that he can have some issues, but if you want to throw a lineup with him in, I wouldn't be upset about that.
Yeah, so I can understand the build might be a little bit different here. So let's take out Barton. I wasn't high on him in the first place. So we got Jalen Brunson, and you want to throw in Willie Cauley-Stein? 38.
And don't sleep on JaMychal Green either. We're going to see potentially 20 minutes from JaMychal Green. He's a 1.23 fantasy points per minute guy. So if he really gets out, and his usage is high. He's at he's hovering around 23.6% usage. And same with Brunson. Brunson's at 25% usage. So those are guys, JaMychal Green and Brunson, as well as Willie Cauley-Stein. There's a lot of really good options today for our flex.
So I see how that's working out. All right, let's go Frank and see what that gets up to. I think that's just going to give us TH
Hardaway or Will Barton.
And this is the same lineup, pretty much just swapped Jokic and Luka, and then Cauley-Stein for what's his name, fucking Jalen Brunson.
So you're liking Campasa, right?
Yeah, I'm fine with it, man. At 2,200, I think. And let's look at his recent output here.
He did pretty good. He's done pretty good recently. He's got some decent minutes recently.
Yeah, I mean, 15. If he gets 15 fantasy points
at that price, it's you could do
I'll
okay.
Take 13 fantasy points at that price.
If he goes off for 29,
it's over.
You're going to have a good time for sure. Here, back out of that real quick. Let me see what the fuck this lineup is.
I don't know how he sees the basket.
Hardaway, Murray, Jokic. Let's do a lineup without Murray now. Let's do Doncic in the captain. Let's do a lineup without Jamal Murray. So clear all this shit out, and let's just do a nice slow build, as slow as we possibly can with 12 minutes left. So clear Murray, leave Jokic in.
And we're fading Murray entirely, right?
And we're going to fade him for now and just see what happens. So Brunson, Cauley-Stein, Hardaway, and Barton. That's nice.
I'm going to enter this.
I'm going to enter this into a single entry because I want to be just a little bit different, but I don't want to go too crazy here. Doncic, Jokic, is it Hardaway, Barton, and who do we got? Brunson and Cauley-Stein.
It's a 4-2. I'm fine with that.
All right. I've got one lineup to build left. Okay, so let's now do a Barton captain for Michael here. Let's see what we can get with that. Got about 11 minutes to log.
So this is the optimal 223. So you're about.
Did you put our boy? Did you put Jamal Murray back in the player pool?
Good call.
You son of a bitch.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs.
I'm just
you kidding me?
Random sounds.
Playoffs?
So gave us another 2 points back doing that, but is what it is. You got Will Barton captain, Brunson, Willie Cauley-Stein, Murray, Doncic, Jokic.
Let me look at the top projected ceiling here on Fantasy Cruncher with all these lineups I've got.
See, we got a little bit of time here. I do want to.
Okay, so build this one, dude.
Okay.
So let's see. Ceiling 352. So we got two options here. So Doncic, Felice fucking Campazzo, Brunson, Barton, Murray. Sorry, I'm going a little faster.
Wait, who's captain?
Oh, I'm sorry, Luka. Luka's captain. This is the highest projected ceiling lineup that you can possibly get. So Luka, Jokic, Murray. We've got Will Barton, Brunson, and Campazzo. and that has a projection of 234. And what do you got there? 232. So just a little bit different on your end from your projections.
I don't hate that lineup. I mean, I love Jalen Brunson. I really like Compazzo at that price.
Yeah.
And I mean, if I got to play another one of the starters, I mean, I'd rather it be Will Barton.
Let's Jermichael Green. Let's do it. Thanks
Captain?
for commenting. Appreciate it. Jermichael Green, captain. Yeah, there we go. Let's do it, man. Fuck it. We've got 9 minutes. Just do Jermichael Green and then optimize.
Yeah, if you're gonna play this, you may as well run the optimal.
Yeah, exactly.
Jokic, Doncic, Barton, THJ, WCS. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, if you want to run it, 230 or 220 projection.
All right, so my favorite lineup. Ellie, what's your favorite lineup? Let me look at what I've entered here.
I'm gonna try something while you're doing that. I want to build with a certain captain. Talk to you guys about THJ. Let's see if it's even fucking worth it. Jokic, Luka, Murray. What do we got? Will Barton? He is 7,400. That's not gonna work, is it? Okay.
Raph, I'm looking for my favorite lineup here. It's hard, man, because I like Doncic, but you have to punt at multiple positions here.
I like this one here.
Hardaway, Jokic, Doncic, Murray, Brunson. Oh, I like that a lot. Damn it. Why'd you have to build a good lineup? I gotta fucking enter another fucking lineup. Contest full, son of a bitch. We got 7 minutes. Ellie, so real quick, as soon as you're done entering that, let's hook Raph up with what our and everyone else with our favorite build that we've done so far. Do you have a favorite so far?
Yes. Let me pull it up real quick.
I like that one a lot, actually.
The one with THJ?
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah, that's a good THJ lineup. Yeah, Ellie, we got 6 minutes. I didn't get a good idea. Who saw that lineup? Post in the chat if you saw that THJ lineup, or Ellie, tell it to me off your Draftkings app.
Yeah,
Murray, Jokic, Brunson,
THJ,
Capazzo.
Brunson, Cauley-Stein, Doncic, Luka, and Murray. Brunson and Cauley-Stein. After that, just jam in the most expensive.
Jam in the chalk. Copy that. Jokic, Murray.
And see, the good thing about that lineup, right, is if you don't want to rest, God damn it, if you don't want to rain on Facundo Campazzo guy, 2,200, right? I mean, look, it's risky as fuck. It's risky as fuck playing that with THJ.
Yeah,
but look, if THJ has a 45-point fantasy output, Luka's probably got 72 assists, right? Jokic is gonna get a triple-double. And if THJ goes off, it's because it's a shootout. So Jamal Murray needs to be in there. And yeah, I mean, I love it.
So DFS, what are your thoughts on DFS? He wasn't grading out well to me. I think he's a good option. Obviously, he's got 29 projected minutes. His usage is very, very, very low. He's at 13.8% usage. I don't love that. That kind of scares me. And if you look at his ceiling, it's right around 35 fantasy points. We're talking about their 75th projectile or 75th percentile projection here. I just don't love him tonight. I just don't feel like he's grading out well. Ellie, do you agree with me on that one?
Look, I will not play DFS unless Luka is out.
Yeah, exactly. Unless there's injuries, that's when you can kind of fuck with him. But
I mean, like main slate pricing at like 3,500 is where I need him if Luka is playing.
So guys that I don't like tonight, Gary Harris, just because his fantasy points per minute. I know he's getting 31 minutes. I just don't think he gets enough usage. His usage is pretty low as well. He's one of the lowest on the slate.
Another 3-and-D. He's known for his defense. That's why he's out there.
DFS, not one of my favorites. Monty Morris, not one of my favorites. I'm just looking at he can get 30 minutes, but his usage, if you got a 13% usage, it's just not good. Luka is getting 38% usage basically, so he's soaking up a lot of that, and then Jamal Murray and Jokic are soaking up the rest on the other side, and then Tim Hardaway is getting any extra. JaMychal Green is great off the bench. Jalen Brunson, great off the bench, or he's starting, right? No, he's off the bench. My bad.
Yeah, he's off the bench.
So hit us up with any last minute questions here, guys. We'll still build. We're going to take you past lock. We're going to look at ownership, hang out for another minute or two, shoot the shit, and then we'll move on. And we'll talk about our tomorrow slate real quick. But for now, JaMychal Green. That's pretty nice, actually. Kleber. I think Kleber has upside. He just needs to stay out of damn foul trouble. But I like Willie Cauley-Stein better.
See, Maxi Pad's one of those guys that I really only like to play when Luka's out too, and he usually gets a pretty significant boost with Porzingis being out. Another guy we haven't talked about at all. Actually, is he even fucking playing? Yeah, Dwight Powell.
Dwight Powell, he's okay. I think okay.
He doesn't get many minutes, but if there is foul trouble by DFS or Kleber, and both, right? And I did intentionally mumble that. So, he could come out and just crush in a short amount of time. If you're feeling real fucking froggy, throw in some Boban, right? Why not?
Dude, he's not even in my player pool, bro. What's he projected minutes wise? Like fucking 4?
He's not going to have any minutes projections. Dude, but the thing is in his 4 to 7 minutes, he can end up with a fucking double, and that shit pisses me off so much. It happens, like he plays 3 games a season and he ends up with a fucking double in 2 of them, and it's always a late swap thing that I never have time to fix. Anyways, I digress. So
do we need to anticipate a blowout here? And if we do, what do we do about that?
I mean, I need a recommendation one way or the other. So I guess if we're going to go blowout, we're going to assume Denver.
I'm just saying, I would assume. It's tough. I don't see a blowout happening. I'm just saying, what can we do can we do anything to plan for a blowout? Like, who do we end up boosting if there's more Dallas?
This is my blowout core.
Yes. Okay.
I'm glad I could help out there.
Yeah. Thanks. Appreciate it. Who gets a little bit of a minutes boost as of right now? Like Dozier, James Johnson, Capazzo. Like, do those guys get a little bit of a minutes boost if things get out of hand?
Dude, I think this is the blowout lineup right here.
Millsap, Capazzo, Kleber, or Boban. Boban a captain.
Yeah, Boban a captain. What the fuck? Like, bro, you don't even have any.
You didn't get any Boban captain requests.
All right, so Nuggets. Oh, weird.
1 minute. 1 minute.
I'm all giving starting lineup updates that came out 25 minutes ago, 14 seconds before lock. All right, here we go.
We're locked.
Oh shit.
Yeah, exactly. God, I hate this guy. He was on the Rockets, right? He fucked up so many times last year.
Him and Jakob Poultry. Those two.
And Poultry. Yeah.
Those guys come in like mega chalk at fucking 45% at $3,200 and score 7 fantasy points.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck those guys. They get benched. They get like 9 minutes and they're in the starting lineup. It doesn't make any sense.
Bro, and then what was it? Fucking Harry Giles last season. Or was it the other guy, Marvin Bagley? Like, I swear to God, he thought he was fucking boxing. I just look at ESPN.
Harry Giles.
I look at ESPN and he's got 3 fouls in a minute and a half. Like, bro, and that's not an exaggeration. It's not. I actually won money because I went the other direction on that one. I remember Asimo saying that shit.
All right, guys. Let's look at ownership here and let us know what tournament you guys.
Luka's 95%.
Oh my god, that doesn't surprise me. What is he in the captain?
40%.
Wow, right on target there. Okay.
Jokic
What about
is,
Jokic?
Also 95% and 33% in captain.
Yeah, that's pretty. I guess Jamal Murray. That's going to be the interesting thing here. I have him at 70, around 70% and 10% the captain. What about you?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
For Murray, Jamal Murray. Yeah, we got to get Comparzo, man. If this guy has a ceiling game, I'm going to be loving my life tonight.
I'm looking at the one lineup we faded him in. Yeah, he's 64% and 10 at captain. I guess that would have been an interesting captain. How the fuck is Willie Cauley-Stein only at 20% and he's starting? So
I have about 35% in one of mine. So it just depends on your tournament. $1.
THJ is 4.5 at captain, 40
Oh,
over.
here we go. This will be a better comparison here. Yeah, Will Barton 40%, Jalen Brunson 40%, Campazzo, good old 14.6%. That's our key, man. That's our key because the optos were, the optimizer was punching out a lot of PJ Dozer. I no, fuck that. I'd rather go Campazzo.
Dude, PJ Dozer, he's fine if there's more injuries. He's not going to get the minutes, and he gets in foul trouble too easily.
So look, guys, if you guys played Campazzo, please don't send us hate mail. It's a GPP option here. Come on.
We're intentionally building to win money. What this means is you're probably going to lose a majority of the time because you're really looking for a guy like fucking Brad Wanamaker. I mean, what did your lineup get last night? Third place, right?
I got like third place.
And then I had 74th, right? And I mean, you get it right, and it makes a huge difference. Now, I'm not saying go out there and fucking start Boban Marjanovic if all the sites have him projected for 0 minutes, right?
Thanks, man. Yeah, exactly. Good luck, guys. Good luck. Ellie, are we hitting the over or the under here?
Over.
You're hitting the over? All right. What's your bold pick today? What's your bold? Is Campazzo going to have 65 real-life fantasy points?
Real-life fantasy. I think he's going to have 16 real-life points and be in the optimal lineup.
Dude, that'd be sick. I would love that. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow for another game. I don't know. What do we got tomorrow? Anybody in the chat hit us up with that? Let's look real quick. Let's check out this DraftKings app. Showdown. Friday, 7 p.m. Clippers and Golden State again.
So
more Clippers, more Golden State.
We'll just get clips of our last one and just play them on repeat.
Yeah, exactly.
No, this will be interesting. I'm down. Let's do it.
Yeah. It's true. If Campazzo gets 25 fantasy points, we're all going to win. That's true. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. We'll see you tomorrow. And if you can't join us tomorrow, be ready for playoffs. Be ready for some playoffs on Saturday, NFL. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next time.